Amid the growing pressure and criticism surrounding Ducati's performance this season, Gigi Dall'Igna has finally made a remarkably surprising admission. A figure known for rarely acknowledging mistakes publicly has now hinted that Ducati may have taken the wrong direction, while Francesco Bagnaia apparently understood the root cause of the Desmosedici's problems from the very beginning. Could this be proof that Ducati was too late in listening to its own lead rider? Let's discuss. According to various reports circulating around the paddock after the Mugello Grand Prix, Dall'Igna reportedly realised a major mistake Ducati had been making for months. The issue was not related to race strategy, electronic settings, or aerodynamic development. Instead, the real question concerned the development direction of the Ducati Desmosedici itself. This admission became particularly significant because it came after a Mugello weekend that showcased Francesco Bagnaia's impressive resurgence. The Italian rider looked far more competitive than he had in several previous rounds, and once again displayed the level of performance that reminded everyone why he is a two-time MotoGP world champion. Looking back to the beginning of the season, Bagnaia had actually been sending signals for quite some time that something was not quite right with Ducati's latest machine. His concerns were never expressed as emotional criticism in front of the media. Instead, Bagnaia consistently provided highly detailed technical feedback to the team. He repeatedly complained about a lack of confidence in the front tyre, difficulties carrying corner speed in a way that suited his riding style, and the loss of the natural connection between rider and motorcycle during braking and the initial phase of corner entry. To some people, those complaints may have sounded routine. However, coming from a two-time world champion, such comments were actually a serious warning that the bike's character was beginning to move away from the needs of the team's primary rider. Unfortunately, Ducati appeared to take a different path at the time. At the same time, Marc Marquez's outstanding performances created a very different perception inside the Ducati garage. Marquez is widely known as a rider capable of extracting speed from a motorcycle under even the most difficult circumstances. Throughout his career, he has often compensated for a bike's weaknesses through his physical abilities, lightning-fast reflexes, and uniquely aggressive riding style. When Marquez continued to deliver strong performances despite the motorcycle displaying difficult characteristics, the assumption naturally emerged that the problem was not with the bike itself. The logic seemed simple. If Marquez could be fast, then the motorcycle could not be the issue. However, Mugello may have proven that conclusion to be overly simplistic. A championship-winning motorcycle should not be competitive only in the hands of an extraordinary rider. It must also be consistent, predictable, and capable of inspiring confidence across a wide range of racing conditions. As the season progressed, many observers felt that the Desmosedici's development was increasingly moving towards the demands of Marquez's riding style. The bike became more aggressive, more difficult on corner entry, and required a highly attacking approach to achieve its maximum performance. The problem was that this character differed significantly from Bagnaia's racing philosophy. While Marquez is accustomed to conquering a motorcycle through instinct and bravery, Bagnaia relies on precision, balance, and the ability to build a consistent rhythm, lap after lap. As a result, Bagnaia gradually appeared to lose his comfort level on the bike. He remained fast, but he no longer looked as confident and in control as he did during his championship-winning campaigns. Many observers even began questioning whether Bagnaia's own performance had declined. Now, following Mugello, a growing theory has emerged that the real issue may not have been the rider at all, but rather a development path that had gradually moved further away from his needs. The Mugello Grand Prix became a wake-up call for many people. During Ducati's home race weekend, several technical changes introduced by the team appeared to restore a more progressive and rider-friendly character to the bike. Throttle response felt smoother, front tyre support improved, and the communication between the motorcycle and the rider when entering corners looked significantly better. The results were immediately visible on track. Bagnaia was able to lead the race, deliver competitive pace, and return to the podium after being one of the fastest riders throughout the weekend. In contrast, Marc Marquez endured a much more difficult weekend, largely due to his physical condition not yet being fully recovered from the shoulder issues that continue to affect his performance. The difference in performance between the two riders is believed to have become a major point of evaluation at Ducati headquarters. After analysing all the data from Mugello, a very important conclusion emerged. Every time Ducati moved closer to Marquez's riding philosophy, Bagnaia tended to lose performance. On the other hand, whenever the bike returned to a more progressive and predictable character, Bagnaia immediately became competitive again. This conclusion does not mean that Marquez is a problem for Ducati. On the contrary, Marquez is still regarded as one of the greatest riders in MotoGP history. However, Ducati is beginning to realise that Marquez's riding style cannot be the sole compass for motorcycle development if the manufacturer wants to maintain the long-term balance of its project. The problem is that this realisation may have come far too late. After spending months focusing on developing the bike around the needs of another rider, Ducati is now starting to understand just how important Francesco Bagnaia's role and feedback have been in maintaining the balance of the entire project. At the same time, rumours circulating throughout the paddock suggest that Bagnaia's future for the 2027 season is increasingly pointing toward a new project with Aprilia. Although there has been no official confirmation, the speculation continues to grow stronger as various reports indicate that Aprilia is highly interested in making Bagnaia the centrepiece of its project for MotoGP's new era. If that scenario becomes reality, Ducati could face a far more complicated situation than anyone currently imagines. They may have only realised the value of Bagnaia's feedback when the relationship between both parties was already approaching its final chapter. Losing a rider who has spent years helping develop the motorcycle is not just about losing speed on the track. It also means losing an extremely valuable source of technical insight. More importantly, MotoGP will enter the new 850 cubic centimetres regulations in 2027, a major change that will force every manufacturer to build its project almost from scratch. Under those circumstances, a rider's experience and understanding of a bike's philosophy become incredibly valuable assets. That is why, if Bagnaia truly leaves Ducati, the Bologna-based manufacturer risks losing one of the most influential figures in its transition into MotoGP's new era. Now, the paddock's attention is focused on Ducati's next moves in the upcoming rounds. Every change to the chassis, electronics, aerodynamics, and even the distribution of testing duties will serve as an indicator of whether Ducati is genuinely changing the direction of its motorcycle development. One thing is certain: Mugello has changed the political dynamics inside the Red Garage. If Ducati has truly realised too late that Bagnaia was right from the very beginning, could that decision become their greatest regret when MotoGP enters the new 2027 era? Share your thoughts in the comments below